Hey everybody, welcome to day 16 of the 21 days of hypnotherapy and NLP. Today, I'm going to be going over how you can pre-select your clients for success, how you can set them up for success, how you can also set yourself up for success, and how you can have an amazing session. So the topic tonight is picking the right client for hypnotherapy. For those who don't know me, welcome. I'm grateful to have you here. Just comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll certainly get back to you, and PM me if you want to know more about the course or you want to know more about any of the topics that I share. I'll be happy to dialogue with you and let you know and lead you to resources if you want to find out more. For those who don't know me, also, my name's Jocelyn Afenadansky. I'm a trauma nurse of 15 years and I've been in the healthcare industry for 27 years. Now, I'm very passionate about training coaches because I have two siblings. They are 7 and 6 years older than me, or 7 and 5 years older than me, and they both have severe mental illnesses. One schizoaffective disorder and bipolar, and the other one borderline personality disorder. And I don't share that much with anyone. In fact, I don't think I've ever shared that with anyone. For me, it was quite devastating to see them institutionalized my pretty much my entire life since I was 9 years old. And then again, when my brother started hallucinating and auditory hallucinations and laughing when it wasn't appropriate, and I knew something was wrong. And both of those were induced by trauma. The ACE score, adverse childhood effects, would be 20. The the highest score is, I believe, 9 or 10. And and basically what that means is however much there's a criteria. I'm not going to go into it, but there's a criteria. And if you've experienced domestic violence, if you've had someone go into jail, if you've been isolated or rejected, there's all these criteria, and each one gets a point. And the higher the score, the more likely you will have health issues or mental health issues, or both. And whenever you have any trauma, you are more likely to have health problems later on in life, if not then and there, with acute blunt trauma, which is being hit, beaten, maimed, poisoned from an incident that happened. I also want you to remember that trauma is fragmentation, and what happens is it's almost like if I got a glass and I just smashed it. That's what happens to you. And all these broken shards of glass create this disassociation. And that's how people survive. They have to separate themselves from themselves to keep safe. And the impact on the system, on the central nervous system, is profound and massive. And often there is fight, flight, immobilization, fawn, and or freeze, which is immobilization. So it's really significant. And I remember going to see them at Tukanui, which is it was out by Te Awamutu, past Te Awamutu in Waikato, where I'm from in New Zealand. And just notice my throat's like clamping up as I speak of it, because it was quite traumatic from the outside looking in to watch my siblings experience so much trauma, but then to also experience what they experienced in the system and in mental health, and the medications they had to go on, the antipsychotics, the mood stabilizers, and the impacts it had on their body, and the changes it had on their spirit. And, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So I grew up wanting to find a cure, or wanting to help my big brother and sister, and not knowing how, obviously. I just did what I could which was become a nurse. Oh, this was not what I planned when I was preparing for this video. So I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew that if I could help my brother and sister, I would intervene at any time. And I grew to dislike the way things were done and are done in the mental health system, and the lack of support and or knowledge and or understanding as it relates to trauma, and the cycle of looping that happens when someone has a mental illness and doesn't really understand how to get help, or doesn't have um, the capacity to have self-reflection, and or they're so drugged up that that they just, wow. Oh, I'm so sorry, I apologize. Just give me a moment, please. All right, I'm back. I'm back, guys and girls. Apologies. I'm not sorry for crying. I'm allowing my body to witness what's coming up in a deep contemplation. However, I feel that I haven't talked about that for a while. So the fact that I'm opening up about that is kind of huge for me, because I don't even talk about it to anyone. So I just know that for myself, I wanted to find a way where I could help my brother and sister, and I could help my family. And I can't help them if I'm unwell and if my health is compromised. And so that's how I started on this whole journey of becoming a healer and a coach. And I continued right up until becoming a trainer. I didn't want to stop. I wanted to keep going. I didn't know what path that would look like, but I knew that I wanted to help and assist coaches do what I do, and potentially save someone from going down the routes of mental health. And I know that it can be good for people. My personal opinion, it hasn't been, but I know that, sometimes people need that. And I just think, for myself personally, if I had have known what I know now, I would have been in a better position to assist them more, so that their condition wouldn't be as severe as it is now. I mean, I'm 42. Was 9 when my sister became unwell, and I was 15 when my brother became unwell. So quite a number of decades being a part of the system and the mental health system. So my passion is to teach my students to know how to master themselves first and foremost, how to know themselves, how to do their own inner work, and at the same time assist and help other people that they have experience in, that they have been able to fully break through or transform or up level or upgrade or recondition, reprogram, that they've been able to not excel, they don't have to be perfect, but they know the steps so they can teach other people until they become, and as they grow and as they learn, become from novice to expert. So that's my intention for the 12 months. All my students will be with me for 12 months, monthly master classes, and I'll be teaching them everything I know. And that's why I'm doing it this way. My way of, I guess, my work is a direct correlation of my experiences as a young person, as a little kid, watching the way my brother and sister were treated, and I'm talking straitjackets and um, just horrible stuff, which I won't go into. So big breath. Day 16, we're going to focus on how you pick the right client. This is something I'm very passionate about. It's really important that you know you don't have to know everything, but you need to know what you're doing. You at least need to know the tools so that you can assist people safely. And you may not always get it right, and that's okay, but at least you know what you know until you know more. I mean, that's life, right? We don't get to unravel perfectly. It can be an absolute mess. But as long as you have the mindset, the growth mindset, and you're always willing to learn and apply yourself daily, you can overcome anything. I'm proof of that, living proof. My daughter is living proof of that. My family, they are so resilient. It's nice to not have to be resilient sometimes. It's nice to just be, to surrender, to just relax and chill. But resilience is a fantastic thing as well. Sometimes it's nice to not have to be resilient all the time. So let's get to it. Whew, that was a bit heavy-handed, wasn't it? I was meant to be only 10 minutes. I haven't put my timer on. I imagine I've gone over time, so apologies for that. Just bear with me. So how do you select the right client? How do you set them up for success? And how also do you set yourself up for success? Because you never want to take someone on that you know that you just can't help them, or you know that they deliberately have a pattern of self-sabotage, or they don't take responsibility, or they don't take accountability. And you can pick that up in the first point of call when you connect with them over the phone. So my suggestion is, when you get a client who contacts you either from your website or anywhere where you have your services advertised, you set up a Zoom call so you can look at them face to face. And it's an issue if they don't have Zoom, they don't have internet, and they can't get online. If you're going to be doing 80% or 90% online practice, because you'll need clients that can get online. You need to be able to visually see them as well. So set up that appointment, and you, through learning the NLP communication model, through learning linguistics, through learning how the brain works and the neurons and the neurotransmitters and the neural pathways, you'll be able to pick up through their eye patterns, through watching their skin tone, their body language. The non-verbal is very, very important in terms of communication. People communicate more through non-verbal than they do through what they say. Remember, 8% is words, and 50 something percent, it's like 56%, is through body language. So people will tell you more with what they don't say than what they do say. So you can pick up whether or not this person, just straight off the bat, when you talk to them through their language, if they're going to be the right client for you. After that, look at these factors as well. And so I'm just going to run through them. The first one is age. You can do hypnosis with little children. So we want to look at the age, their development, not the chronological age, more so their developmental age and their maturity, what they like, what they dislike if they're 0 to 7 years old, or more so, because you can do hypnotherapy with babies as well, but I won't get into that for now. More so the 7 to 19-year-olds, or 7 to 15, 16-year-olds. You want to be able to know that you have great rapport with them. If you were going to do hypnosis on children, which I personally haven't done, but I would imagine with my grandchildren who are 4, I would have bubbles, I would have toys, I would ask them to close their eyes, I would attempt that way. I don't think personally it is anything to do with the children if a parent is calling you up asking if you could do hypnosis on their 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old. I think the most important thing would be to say yes to a session, but focus more on the parents, because a child, really, in my experience, is never the problem. It's more so the environment that they're reacting to. And so this is another important aspect of knowing about developmental age and also age appropriate behavior and the things that they will tell you, because children are very honest. They're straight up. They'll tell you everything. Mummy, daddy's fighting, or, mummy and daddy aren't friends, or mummy and daddy, or mummy or daddy doesn't love me. They're very honest and open and upfront. So that's another part. So I would have a red flag if I was being asked to do hypnotherapy on my naughty child who's 7 or 8 or 9 or even younger. I would be more looking at one, who is contacting me. If it's a mother, it might be a sign of something else, because normally, especially in trauma, when sometimes, and it's very sad to share, but sometimes when children came to hospital and the presentation was told to the triage nurse, it wasn't the same as the injuries or the presentation of the child. It didn't match. So, for example, fall off a bike. Okay, fall off a bike, but has bruised ribs and a black eye. No, that doesn't make sense. So when you take on non-verbal cues and a parent, a mother or a father is reaching out to you and it seems odd, just say yes and jump on a Zoom with them. And your job is to be able to discern and ask lots of questions and be curious. You want to make sure that everyone's safe. You want to make sure that the child's safe. You want to make sure that if at any point in time you feel like the child is not safe, that you keep that line of communication open and you have a right to alert authorities. And that in and of itself is a totally different video, but that you're just got your sensory acuity about yourself. You're understanding that as a professional, you have responsibility and duty of care to children, to mum, and to dad. So age, that's one of them. The next one, just similarly to that with adolescents, with teenagers, They may not want to have hypnotherapy, but the parents have requested that they do. And parents know their children pretty well for the most part. They know their children more so than you, that's for sure. So they know their tendencies, they know their moods. So if they're reaching out for assistance for their child, the child has to want to do it, first of all. You can't do anything on someone, and it's to do with process, just like NLP. So you can't say, all right, your mum said we're doing this, so get on the couch and go and do your magic. It's not going to work, first of all. There's going to be resistance. And instead of the child or the teenager going into a place of relaxation, they may dip down into constricted emotions and a lower level of consciousness. And they may not only will their negative emotions that they feel not heard, not seen, it may be traumatizing for them as well. And if they have a belief that they're not enough, that they're not worthy, that they're never listened to, then you're in fact re-traumatizing them unknowingly. And that's not what we want to do. So they have to want to do the process with you, and you have to build a rapport with them more so than the parent. Remember that teenagers also, they have their own will and their own rights, and they're 16 years and over. It's confidential unless they give you permission to let the parent know what happened in the session. And so you've got to be careful about that as well. But it's really important to say yes if a parent is reaching out and asking you to assist and help the teenager. If you feel like you are not in a position where you feel confident enough, refer them to someone who knows. So find a hypnotherapist in your area that you know, like, and you trust, and they have integrity and they're trustworthy and they're good with their work, or refer them out to a specialist or someone that has worked with children. I'm always happy to work with people if I have time. But yeah, that's something to be mindful of. The next one is their level of readiness. I've already talked about that. So they need to be ready. They need to want change, and they need to want to be willing to do the actions, take the actions that are going to assist and help them with that change. So if they say, yeah, all good, just do it. And I've had clients like that, and I'm like, okay, awesome. And they haven't really, what they say and then what they do are two different things. So sometimes, they might not be fully honest, and that you can't blame yourself for that. That's something that you probably didn't know, and they probably did not want to tell you. Sometimes people just want attention. Sometimes people, and most of the time, they genuinely do want help. They're just scared, and it's an impact of trauma where they freeze and disassociate because they have all this unhealed trauma from the past. So just know and understand that the more you build rapport with them, the more your intention is from pure love, like you just genuinely want to help them, they will feel that and they'll be able to open up. And sometimes it's just not the right time, and that's okay too. Sometimes people, yes, they want to seek and get help, but they're just not ready to do the things that are necessary, and so they might come back in another 6 months or 7 months or something like that. Don't take it personally. With rapport, you want to make sure you have rapport with them. People tend to buy from someone in terms of, and when I mean buy, I don't mean money, although that's part of it, but I mean buy into what that practitioner is going to be able to do for them with people that you know, like, and trust. So if you feel like if I was a student and I was given the cleaner to help me with a client who was having a heart attack, like the students, I would not feel safe to practice under those circumstances because I know that the cleaner has not had the level of knowledge and study that we've had, as opposed to being shown around and being introduced to clients by an actual registered nurse who has done that job for many years. So that's another key thing. Build rapport, get to know your clients, get to ask them and know the questions that you need to ask in order to qualify them, get to know their values, their standards, their beliefs, and what drives them, what inspires them, what lights them up, because you can also utilize that in the session when you do the session. You wouldn't ask that necessarily the first time you talk to them. You wouldn't get into the story of it, but you would ask basically, there's a criteria. There's a criteria. It's too much to go into now, but I can share it later on if you would like. Just comment down below if you would like me to share that, and I'll share the PDF for you in the comments down below if you would like that. The next one is we talk about values and beliefs. And so you could meet someone, their values and beliefs are the same as yours, like trust, integrity, honesty, resilience, devotion, dedication, right? We could have the same. But if my top three are different to your top three, that could mean a totally different outcome. You don't need to know all their values and beliefs, but if at least the top two are similar, around the same range, you probably will have a really successful session with them because they have similar beliefs to you, and they're more likely going to listen to you as you induce them in trance, and then as you go through the session and as you close the trance, they'll be openly trusting in you, and that you have the credibility and the credentials to assist and help them have their transformation. I just wanted to share a couple more things. I'm just going to share my screen because I feel like this is important as well. Okay, so I lost, right, here we go. All right, so this is the NLP communication model, and I'm going to switch my state so that you can see. So before it's very, it was sad seeing my brother and sister. Now I'm going to show you how you can switch your state, and how you do that is by your filters: delete, distort, generalize, right? So I'm going to do it the opposite way. So I'm going to change my state, and my physiology will change, my behavior will change, the pictures, the sounds, the pictures, the feelings, the tastes, the smells, the self-talk will change, and it will upgrade and automatically change the filters as I'm deleting, distorting, and generalizing, and as you are doing the same. Now, when it comes to selecting your client for your hypnotherapy session, you want to know that they have the ability to do this with you. So you want to pre-frame them. Are you coachable? Are you able to follow instructions? Do you want change? You want to motivate them here. You want to get them to see they knew them when they're not smoking anymore, when they're living their sovereign health, when they have the wealth that they want, when they have the bubby and the tummy that they want, whatever it is that they come to you for, you want to know that they are able to be flexible, that they're able to follow instructions, that they're able to listen, and that they're willing to. They have to make a decision to be able to do that. The next one is in terms of the Hawkins scale of consciousness. This is about their ability and basically where you're coming in, when you're entering in the client practitioner relationship, right? If they come to you, and most of them come to you at effect, they're not coming to you because they're like hitting all the goals. They'll come to you with something that they want to transform from, that they want to fix, that they feel stuck with. So they'll generally be in here with their emotions. And this number is the number of the vibrational frequency, basically. So this low shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, that's really low vibration, right? And you don't want to work with someone who is here and is going to stay there and doesn't want any help, doesn't want to do the work. You're not going to, they will qualify themselves out of booking a session with you, essentially. You can have people here, but they're willing to change. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get the result they want. You want to work with those people, and they can be around here. They can have fear, but they see the vision of them in their internal representation of them succeeding and doing whatever it is that they want to do, right? So you want to make sure that you pre-frame and you have the right questions for them to qualify them for you. Whatever your soul tribe is, your soul client is. And over here, this is expansion, right? Here is the flow. And I always say love is the truth and everything else is an illusion, because it truly is. When you're vibing from love, unconditional love, from that space of gratitude, of joy, of passion, of acceptance, and even enlightenment, you are coming from a place of source, of resourcefulness, and you're expanded. Now, if you're contracted and stuck in fear, you're only going to get those results. I'm laughing at my little triangle. It's a little bit crooked. Whoopsie daisies. But you're not going to have flow. There's going to be a lot of chaos. There'll be issue after issue, drama after drama, and nothing will feel like it's going in alignment, or you will feel misaligned. So with your clients, you want to know that they're around here, or they're suffering, they're in this, but they're willing to do the work. And the only way that you can get them to commit to doing that is if you get them to exchange energy and pay for their services, or if it's your family and friends, you exchange services. So say, for example, my sister wants to drop a few kgs, right? Then I'll exchange for something, because I'll always help my sister. I always will. There is a key to not working with your family. But if I'm in a position, and I've been doing this for years, I'll make that call for myself. The next one, wrong way. So this is the electrical impulse of your brain, and it's important to know that this is how you want to enter in the clients in the session. So you want the client to be in theta, at least theta. They might slip between these, and slip between relaxed and tired. Then these two, I think it's more theta or delta, actually. Theta or delta, sorry, it got muddled. Where the brain wave is slowing down, that is when the critical faculty of the conscious mind just goes to sleep. And that's the logical, analytical part of the conscious and unconscious. And it will allow the unconscious to directly communicate with the client and with you easier. So you'll be able to pull out all the information, or the stories or the narratives or the old outdated beliefs, and you'll be able to assist and help them transmute that. And so that's really powerful. Now, with the brain waves, they are electrical pulses and pulses in the brain, and the emotions and the thoughts that people have. Remember, there's about 6 to 12,000 thoughts we have in a day. It's over 32 trillion cells in the body. So these thoughts that you're having, these emotions, when we go back to here, to the scale of consciousness, of having lots of negative thoughts, right? It's going to impact the neurotransmitters and the neurons that are firing off. And all your brain waves are produced by these synchronized electrical pulses from the neurons communicating with each other, and the various frequencies. So neural oscillations or brain waves, they are rhythmic, just like your heart beating, and the neural activity of your central nervous system. So depending on what you're thinking, so sorry, I have to you have to you can have a direct impact to your electrical activity. Okay. So it's going to impact. So what you're thinking is also going to impact your brain waves. So say you're in trauma, sympathetic nervous system is initiated. So there's sympathetic and the autonomic. The autonomic is rest and digest. It's like calm, relax, chill out, flow. And your sympathetic is like when you're consciously in fight flight, your electrical activity, brain activity is like this. That's why you can't sleep. That's why you can't relax. That's why over time, days, weeks, months, you have chronic fatigue and chronic insomnia. So when it comes to selecting your clients, you want to know and you want to pre-frame them. You actually can go into hypnosis. Hypnosis just means you're highly suggestible. I already know you are. It's rapid eye movement, the movement of your REM. And also, if you've ever fallen asleep before, you most likely will be able to go into hypnosis. So you just need to know how to talk to your clients, how to pre-frame them and set them up for success, and how to assist them in making a decision to either work with you or to work with someone else that may be in a better position to assist them if that's the case. And it's all comes down to there's 5 principles that I believe everyone should have as a practitioner. There may be more or less. The first one is honesty, which I shared. The second one is trust. And it's the ability for a client to be able to trust you, to be able to know what you're doing, to be able to allow you to take over and literally feel like they can put their life in your hands while they're in hypnosis, that you know them enough to know how to guide them, that you know your stuff enough to be able to do that. Number 3, integrity. Oh, integrity is so important. Integrity in your work, integrity in your own personal life, integrity. And you can't like say, yeah, I can help you when you don't even practice the same things that you're teaching your clients. You have to be congruent, and that comes across real easy. Like, people can pick up whether you're uh, incongruent. I was going to say fake it till you make it. When you're faking it, or are you just making it, but you're not living in alignment with what you say you can do and how you can help your clients. There was a fifth one. I think the fifth one is a devotion. There's a certain type of self-mastery, devotion to mastering yourself. And it's not about, yeah, I could do this. Yeah, I mastered myself. It's more about, I can be vulnerable. I can tap into my emotions. I can own them. I can let stuff go. I can do the work with myself, on myself, any time of the week, any second of the day. And I know myself, I trust myself, and I back myself that there's this resilience, there's this ability to be totally transparent and to own your mess, own your stuff. When you stuff up, owning it is another part of self-mastery. Not pretending to be a guru or perfect. There's no such thing. I'm sorry to share that with you, but perfection is the lowest value you could ever have. Hate to break that to you. I know when I found that out, I was like, are you serious? But I thought I was perfect. How I was living under a rock. There's no such thing. So that's refreshing to know that, oh well, just aim for your best and continually work on yourself every day. Can I continually and never ending I don't know what the I is. Continually never ending improvement. Oh my goodness, it's been a long day. Thank you for joining me. That was day 16 of 21 days of NLP and hypnotherapy. I look forward to sharing you day 17. Sorry about the little bit of moshi. That was a shock. That wasn't preempted or planned. That was nothing of what I was going to be sharing in this. Actually, it was more hyper and chipper and ahoy there and exciting. And so that's what happens in your sessions with your clients as well. You can't, and telling them that they can trust themselves and what comes up is really important, because they won't know what comes up in the session. That was their unconscious mind that brought that information to them. That was my unconscious mind. As real and authentic as it is, that was memories that come up all at once. My internal representation was like, was like, no, not now. Part of me, the ego of me was like, this is not the time, homie. Like, go back into your file cabinet and be stored away. That's not how this work works. As you come to know me, if you're just new to my channel and new to my network, I work pretty much as I go and deal with whatever comes up as it comes and as it happens. So that is me. I thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day. I'm sure that's way over 10 minutes. Sorry about it. Take care. I'll do better next time. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day and take care of yourselves. Bye for now.